Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I decided to do a reading vlog for House of Flame and Shadow. I just finished today my reread of both 1 and 2, but I literally just finished House of Sky and Breath, and it has me so excited for the arrival of House of Flame and Shadow. It is the 1st of February for me, and my pre-order has still not arrived. I did ask on my community tab if you are interested in seeing a reading vlog from me for this book release, knowing that I am not going to be someone to binge this new book. I am going to be buddy reading it with my friend Sam. We buddy read Crescent City 1 and 2 the first time we read it, and our reread just finishing up now, and so we are going to be pacing ourselves, but I still wanted to record my reactions and have some discussions with you all on this release, even though I'm not going to be the fastest person out with a reading vlog, but that's okay with me. I will be keeping this reading vlog spoiler free until the end, and I will have a very clear spoiler warning. I will say that as this is the 3rd book in the series, I am going to assume that you have read House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath, but I won't be spoiling House of Flame and Shadow until the spoiler section, if that makes sense. So if you haven't read this series at all, I don't necessarily think that this reading vlog is going to be for you. I have no real ideas on the direction that this book is going to take us, but if you are excited for this reading vlog, definitely let me know in the comments below if you have read this book, and please do not put any spoilers in the comments. If you want to chat spoilers with me, I will have my Bookstagram linked in the description. Thank you so much to everyone who clicked on this video to watch it. I know there is already so much content out for this release, but I just really wanted to record like this hyped up release because I'm reading it as soon as I'm physically able. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to stop rambling, and I will let you know when I have the book in my hands. Hello everyone, first check-in for House of Flame and Shadows. I did take the dust jacket off my book so it doesn't get crumpled. Excuse the lighting and my appearance. It is very, very dark outside, and I didn't feel like turning on my ring light, so we're in a bit of a weird spot, but I hope that's okay because I wanted to just set up my camera and give you a quick update so I can keep reading. I just finished chapter 8. I'm on page 105, and so far I'm loving every second. I am buddy reading this with my bookish bestie Sam. She is almost always linked in my description box of these bookish videos, and we have just been texting back and forth the entire time. I'm liking that we have the Hines POV. That's like, we kick off with her POV in the prologue, and that has been really, really interesting, especially based on what we know of the Hind now. I'm trying to be slightly vague, but as I said in my introduction, I am going to assume you have read the first and the second book in the series, and we'll discuss spoilers for the third book at the end. I'm flying through this so far. I wanted to read more last night, but I was so tired, and I had read over 100 pages in my other reads earlier that day, so I literally just, my eyeballs were gonna fall out. I am feeling so sad for Therion. I've never listened to the audiobooks, so I feel like I mispronounce some of the names, but I just can't believe the mess he has found himself in. And one of my very favorite things of these first 8 chapters are the little like pairing up that we're getting, because our whole crew has been disrupted. So like Ethan, Declan, and Flynn, I love them together so much. I loved Declan and Flynn with Rune as well in the previous books. I just think that they're so funny, and I would love to get more from them. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about the alpha wolf situation. That's feeling a little clunky, a little weird to me, but we'll see how that fleshes out as I continue. Obviously, I'm only 100 pages in, and this is like well over 800 pages, I believe. I don't even want to look because I'm terrified of spoiling myself or seeing spoilers online. I have been successful at avoiding all spoilers. Knock on wood, anything I've seen that contains spoilers has been like clearly marked in a carousel where you had to swipe, so I have just not actually seen any spoilers. The dungeon scenes are really reminiscent to me of Kingdom of Ash. I won't elaborate on that just in case you haven't read the Throne of Glass series, but it's gut-wrenching. I find those chapters a bit hard to read because they make me feel so sad. I feel like I just want to keep talking, but I want to get back to reading. I will check in with you in another 100 pages or so, and hopefully I'm still loving it. Right before mine arrived, I had only seen one review from someone I follow on Goodreads, and it was 5-star. Since then, I've seen reviews everywhere. Some people have been absolutely loving it, think it was perfection and just what they wanted, and other people have said that they were disappointed by this book, but I am so far absolutely loving this and really hope that that continues. There's another pairing that I don't want to elaborate on, but Bryce and someone else is so much fun for me. I really like those chapters / scenes as well, and we're really exploring Bryce's power, and I'm not sure how I feel about all the implications we've gotten so far. There's still a ton to go, obviously. Over 700 pages to go. A lot can unfold. Sarah J. Maas packs so much into these books, and I'm just trying to go along for the ride without overthinking things too much. Though, because we waited so long for this book, I do have a lot of those theories that have been circling on social media, like in the back of my mind, but I'm trying to just focus on what she has actually given us and not speculate too much. Does that make sense? We're gonna skip over the fact that it is a different day, but I'm wearing this sweater again. Do not judge me. I wanted to do another quick check-in, spoiler-free of course, for House of Flame and Shadow. I am now on page 214, about to start chapter 21. The last 100 or so pages have been simultaneously too long and drawn out, and yet so much fun at the same time. The journey Bryce has been taking took entirely too long. like, I was just waiting for something to happen in those parts of this book. But we finally got there, thank God. The dungeon situation is so intense right now. What Baxian had to do, I was literally gagging on the couch. My husband was like, "Are you okay?" No, absolutely not. Was not okay at all. That was a lot. And we have so many characters in so many situations right now, and I'm kind of feeling like things aren't moving at a pace that I was expecting, like plot wise. Like, a lot of things are happening, but not anywheres where our characters are going to start to like converge again. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's really hard to chat about this without any spoilers. Therion, I think I've said in my last update that, like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him. Now he's being a whiny little bitch and he's kind of annoying me. Ethan, something just happened with him that I'm really intrigued, like how that's going to turn out, but also a little bit concerned. I don't know. Like, I'm not feeling super, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. This is the best thing ever. Everything I've been waiting for. Like, I really wanted to feel about this book, and yet I'm still having a fantastic time. Still wanting to pick it up every 2 seconds. Still flying through the chapters. So I'm having like is that contradictory? I don't know. Like, I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, this is kind of dragged out. Oh, that doesn't really make sense. Wow, that was a freaking info dump. Sarah Janet. And then, but also having a fantastic time. I don't know how to explain my feelings right now. I'm also really loving taking my time with this. What happens when I binge read a book, especially a book with so many details, so many layers as this series has, I end up missing details here and there that turn out to be important, and I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to pick up any Easter eggs if there are some. I will say I'm not really picking up any Easter eggs or foreshadowing right now. There were a couple little bits in the history lesson we received that was super info dumpy, and I was kind of like, let's get to the point, that I'm intrigued by, but at the same time kind of feel like it was pulled out of thin air in a convenient way. Like, I wish the history was sprinkled in the previous books as well, to like really connect readers who have read all of her series so far. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of hard to like discuss it without any spoilers, but that is my feelings so far at around the 200 page mark. I am going to keep on reading. I'm probably not going to check in as frequently. I'm thinking around the 50% mark for my next update, because these initial check-ins have been like initial thoughts, getting my feet wet, jumping back into this world, and I am having a great time. There's no doubt about that. And I'm very intrigued about where it's going. I keep seeing more and more 5-star reviews from the people I follow on Goodreads, so I have very high hopes, and I'm hoping and thinking things are going to like pick up hopefully soon. Hey guys, I have read 51 chapters. I'm a little over halfway. And I'm going to try and get some thoughts without being spoilery. I am still having fun. I still want to pick this up all the time. But I'm no longer like absolutely loving it. Things are going to have to change here pretty quickly for my enjoyment. Therion making all of the bad decisions. All of them. He has me so annoyed. Bryce, what is she doing? She's acting like a knockoff Aelin. This is getting into, based on the traveling we've done and where we are currently halfway through the book, is giving Throne of Glass vibes. Throne of Glass is my favorite series. But what I liked about Crescent City and what set it apart from Sarah J. Maas's other series, and this is like aside from the Maasverse interconnected whatever, I'm talking about like what our Crescent City characters are doing, where they are, how they're acting. It feels like Throne of Glass. They're not doing the same things, it's not the same plot, none of that, but like I'm not liking that. Bryce needs to be much different than Aelin. She's doing the same, not giving all of the information, like being sneaky, saving the world situation, but it just doesn't work as good. It doesn't work out as good for Bryce. Team Archive versus Team Cave. Who came up with that split? How was it decided who was doing what? Our cast of characters has spread out a little bit. We're doing different things. We have multiple POVs in this book. That's fine. That's great. That's fun. Who decided who was doing what? Because to me, it's just doesn't make sense. And obviously, like, some sort of conflict or trouble is going to arise based on who is doing what. But, like, I feel like that could have been avoided. Obviously, I'm being very vague because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm just... You know that meme with the, like, creepy cat-looking thing? That's me with some things that are happening. Like, I just don't understand where we're going. This isn't feeling like the other two Crescent City books that I absolutely loved. We still have time to turn it around. But I'm now starting to feel a little nervous. I had complaints in the first bit. I've shared them with you. Some parts were drawn out way too much. Some things have not made sense, but I was still having a really fun time. I'm having less fun now. I really don't want to be disappointed by this book. I've seen so many 5 stars. I also hate being the one with the different opinion. I feel like so often I don't get the hype with books, but all of SJM's books I have loved. Hey guys, it's getting late. I have you on my work phone. I'm very tired. My makeup is melting off, but I'm about to start chapter 58. And Sam, who I'm buddy reading this with, advised me to start filming while I read the next few chapters. I was not planning on doing this, but I expect some crazy stuff is about to go down. So I'm going to get reading. Emmett is going to be in these clips because he is a barnacle. He just turned 4 yesterday as I'm filming this, and it's almost 9 p.m. and that kid will not go to sleep. So please excuse my rambunctious youngest child, and hopefully I can get this reading done. What is this lighting? I am so sorry. It is a very sunny, snowy day, but I have the final check-in for you. I am on page 753. I'm being blinded. I'm about to start chapter 90 and I want to read the last 50, 60 pages on camera because shit is going down. Things are so intense right now. Again, no spoilers in this section, but I am stressed for sure. I honestly have no idea the direction, like what is going to happen in this few number of pages that will obviously be some sort of cliffhanger to lead into the next book. You know what I mean? Like where I'm at right now, while shit is hitting the fan, there would be a way to tie quite a number of things up. But we know that that's not going to happen because this is not the last book. So I am terrified. Sam has already finished earlier today. I was not able to read because I was registering my youngest for school. Yes, I'm very emotional about it. So I'm extra emotional today and going to finish House of Flame and Shadow. What could possibly go wrong? So I've been seeing all her messages roll in of freaking out. Oh my God, Emily, hurry up and pick the book up. So while I'm finishing, you're going to be seeing me picking up my phone regularly to reply to Sam's messages because we were supposed to be reading it together, but that is completely my fault. I was unable to read when she was able to read and finish this. So I'm going to go do that now. I am hoping for some like visceral reactions to catch on film. I just think that that will be really fun. I can't believe I'm in the home stretch. Okay, let's go finish this big boy. I have been putting off filming this last portion of this reading vlog, so apologies that this is going up even later than necessary because I finished this book quite a while ago now. So, spoiler free, I gave this book 4 stars because I did have a lot of fun reading this book. I had problems with it. I've chatted about them briefly throughout this reading vlog. I continued to have problems with it through to the end, but I still had fun. I had fun buddy reading it with my bookish bestie Sam. I had fun returning to this Crescent City world, and for me, a large portion of my rating does come from enjoyment. That's not very objective, but that's just how I like to do things. If a book isn't the most perfectly crafted, but I had the best time reading it, that's 5 stars for me. You know what I mean? A couple times I have rated books 5 stars that I just feel like deserve it because I felt that they were so well crafted. That was not this book. And the longer I sit with it, the more disappointed I feel, which made me put off filming this clip longer and longer. But I really just need to get this video up for you guys, hopefully today. So here I am with my final thoughts. Spoiler free, the Mass-verse Avengers situation was not all that I hoped it would be. And no, I've seen people rant on TikTok. I was not expecting an ACOTAR book. I know this is a Crescent City book, but it still wasn't what I wanted or what I thought it was going to be, and I was disappointed in that. There were scenes in here that were so dragged out, and I feel like it was simply to make this book 800 pages like the first 2. So that they were all like roughly the same page length, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. This is going to be a little bit ranty and I'm sorry. I do want to reiterate that I had so much fun reading this, but I do have problems and I want to discuss them. Rune and Lydia carried this book for me. I loved reading about this, and I have similar feelings to the Throne of Glass series, so if you haven't read Throne of Glass all the way through, skip ahead just a couple of seconds. I'm going to say 1 or 2 sentences that may be considered a spoiler, so skip ahead if you haven't finished Throne of Glass right now. Rune and Lydia is exactly how I feel about Dorian and Manon. They're not the main couple or the main focus of the series, yet they are my favorite. Rune and Lydia were just so amazing in this book. I loved the character development. It was so good. There were characters throughout this book that I felt like were really acting out of character for how we've been building them up to be through the other 2 ginormous books we've had before this one. And my last spoiler-free thought I wanted to share with you is the ending was so tidy. It was too neat for me. Everything was just wrapped up with a cute little bow, and we know that this is not the last Crescent City book, and yet I feel like I don't need another one, which is concerning, and I don't know why Sarah J. Maas would do that as an author. Will I buy and read Crescent City 4? Yes, of course I will, but I don't have that same anticipation. I know a lot of people don't love cliffhangers, but on big fantasy books like this, I personally feel like they're kind of necessary to keep momentum through the series. I feel no hype or anticipation for a 4th Crescent City book coming out. So I guess it's a good thing we're going to be waiting years for it because I feel like the story is done. Oh, another last spoiler-free thought was I did read all of the bonus scenes. On Reddit, someone typed out all 5 stories and put them in like an EPUB document you can download and send to your Kindle. There's a ton of typos in it because I think they literally just like hand typed all the stories. But I mean, they're not so bad that it's not readable. Can I just say I'm so glad that I was not one of those people that felt that I desperately needed all of the bonus scenes and bought different editions of this book to get them. It took me, I was distracted with the children, but it took me about like 2 hours to read all five short stories. And I wish I had that time back and had used that to finish another book. And that's not the vibe I was hoping for. When I downloaded that and was going to read through all of the short stories, I was really hoping for something like The Assassin's Blade. Obviously, I knew it was not that long. It's like 75 pages. But I thought it would be like good quality little short stories that added something to the series, and I really didn't feel that way. Once again, we had characters acting out of characters. There were scenes that were a bit more relevant than others, some from before, some from after this book ends, and I just really did not enjoy them and felt like how I felt when it was first announced that different editions were going to have different short stories. It felt like a cash grab that it was. I'm feeling so salty. I'm so sorry, but those were all of my spoiler-free thoughts for House of Flame and Shadow. If you are not interested in the spoiler section for this reading vlog, I will love you and leave you here. We will be talking about spoilers from now until the very end of this video. But if you've watched this far, I thank you so much for supporting my YouTube channel, and I would love if you gave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because that helps my channel out and lets me know what videos you like. I'm now going to talk spoilers, and I'm still going to keep these rather brief. I did not take extensive notes. I've seen a ton of 5-star reviews on Goodreads, and I wish I felt as they did. But now we're going to be talking about spoilers, so click out of this video if you don't want to hear them. To elaborate on the crossover situation not being what I thought it would be, it was like 200 pages of Bryce and Nesta and Asriel walking through a freaking tunnel. Those chapters were so boring. Am I the only one that felt that way? And then when they got to the end of their journey, it was just this ginormous info dump of convoluted world building. So once again here, I'm going to reiterate that I'm feeling saltier and saltier the longer I've sat on my feelings. So I hate to be negative, but I just want to get my thoughts out. But again, overall, I had fun reading this, but it's like the further and the longer I reflect on what I read and like the actual contents of the book, the more I'm just like, what is going on? I wasn't going to make this bold of a claim in this video, but the longer I sit with it, I really feel that this might be my least favorite SJM book. Oh boy. We had this convoluted story building situation when we got to the end of the tunnel that I really feel like did not make the most sense. And in the story, I felt like it was a really bad knockoff of Throne of Glass. I would love for this to be an open discussion, so if you disagree with me, I would love to have a respectful conversation in the comments below. But I personally feel that the gods didn't play as important of a role in the lore of Crescent City. Like, yes, they're briefly mentioned here and there, but in this book it feels like SJM is trying to make it more like Throne of Glass, where the gods are very prominent and manipulative. And I didn't feel like they were like that in this Crescent City world, but it was like we were trying to make that happen in this book. And I just didn't buy it. Bryce's character development or like character arc, I am not here for it. What is she doing? in this book? Why is she acting the way that she's acting? I feel like she has changed so much from book 1 to book 3, and not in a way that I appreciate. She feels like a really bad Aelin knockoff. I didn't like how she was so combative towards Hunt over in a couple different scenarios, and it's like all the power has gone to her head, but not for good reason. She no longer feels like this art gallery assistant who is just going to try and figure out this mystery because it involved her best friend, and now she is like this reluctant ruler of God knows what. The bar keeps getting higher and higher for her, and I don't understand. And then it'd be like, because the gods left this for me, and I'm like, that's not what happened. I feel like everything that has happened is just a silly mistake or coincidence, and didn't feel like led to this point by the gods like I felt with Throne of Glass. Am I making any sense? I feel like I should have made more notes. I really wish we had more mental health representation, in that it was touched on with Hunt after what he went through, but Rune and Baxian were there too, and I feel like they didn't get as much screen time in the mental health sort of situation. Rune was really focused on Lydia, but I feel like he must have still had some things to work through based on what occurred to him down in the Asteri's dungeons. I don't know, I feel like I could go on, and I don't want this video to be so long with just me ranting at the end, but I just had so many issues with it the longer I've sat with it, and I'm really disappointed. The ending, like, everything is tied up. The only thing that's left is figuring out the power grid situation and like the hierarchies and political democracy situation, and I feel like that's not enough for more books in this series. The only villain we have left at the end of this is the Viper Queen, and she can't carry a whole book on her own. I don't like how Bryce is behaving. I want more Rune and Lydia because I love them so much. I love like Rune, Declan, and Flynn together. I think they are so funny. I really enjoyed Ethan's chapters. I know a lot of people in their reviews, once I finished it, I read through some reviews, are like, what is Ethan doing? He seems like such a pup, which he does, and he made a lot of mistakes in book 2 and book 3, but I found his chapters really entertaining, and I'm excited to see like what he does in the next book. If it's focused on him at all, I don't know. Therion annoyed me most of the time in this book. He was also not acting like Therion, who we met and loved in book 2. I don't know, he was just so whiny and making all kinds of bad decisions. There were some really good scenes in here. I wish I would have wrote them down. There were a lot of really cheesy things. Going through the caves, first of all, I think I mentioned this. I keep ranting, don't I? Who came up with who was Team Archives and who was Team Caves? Why would anyone who has been in the caves before were Team Archives? And the Team Caves, no one had been there before. They don't know where they're going. That made no sense to me at all. Also, in the caves where it's like, oh, these 2 holes in the rock, one is short and one is longer. Immediately I was like, sword and blade. But no, they don't do that at first. We have more wishy-washy gate traveling magic, more world building, dumping story from other people, and then we do that. And also, it wasn't overly clear on what exactly occurred to Bryce when she put the blade and the sword in the hole and unleashed the magic. Because then, did she have the full star, or did she just restore Avalyn? I don't know. I feel like that could have been more clear. Okay. I'm so sad. I'm so disappointed. Let me know your thoughts. I know so many people loved this and I'm so happy for you. And like I keep mentioning, I did have so much fun reading this, but then the more I sat with it, I was like, huh, that didn't make sense. Oh, that was weird. Oh, that was definitely really drawn out. And even while reading it, I was like, what is Bryce doing? Especially because she's like obviously the main focus. And she just, I don't know. Do you ever have those books that you're so highly anticipating and then you just feel kind of sad about it when you're finished? That's how I feel. This was my first Sarah J. Maas like anticipated release because I read through all her other books as like backlist books. I had never been caught up to one that was being released like I was for the first time with this book, and it's just left me a little bit sad. Okay, I'm done rambling for sure now. This video is probably the longest one on my channel. I have no idea. I haven't edited it yet. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this reading vlog with a spoiler section at the end, let me know and maybe I can do this for new releases in the future. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!